Hiya folks, you're very welcome along to this week's episode of John's Garage. This week we're in for a really special treat, okay? We're going to take a walking tour of a very secret little motor museum, and I'm going to tell you how you can access this particular motor museum. So what I'd say to you is, if you like what you see here today, and I know the owners put in a huge amount of work, even a life's work into this, what I would say to you is, I'm going to put my email address underneath this video. The museum is accessible on Saturdays by invitation only. Okay, so maybe you and your motor club would like to take a trip down. There's a little kitchenette here, there's facilities, there's great parking, there's loads of parking. And I know the owner is only mad to have people here and to show them what's here, to go through it and give them a little tour and allow you to have, we'll say, a hands-on experience of all the cars here. Now, the other thing to remember with this particular museum is two other things. Number one, okay, this is what I like to call a working museum. So every single car here is fully functional and operational, apart from one or two, and I'll explain about those particular ones in a few moments. The other thing is it's a working museum in that some of the items here are being fully restored from the ground up, and again I'll show you some of those and what they're doing at that particular, with those particular cars in a few moments, okay? Without further ado, if you wish to attend here after watching this video, send me an email and I'll pass on the owner's details and you guys can arrange it between yourselves, okay? It's located near Thurles. I'm just going to say near Thurles because I don't want to give away the exact location because, as I say, it's not an open museum to the public. So, without further ado, we're going to go on a walking tour. I'll show you the cars, we'll have a look at them, we'll have a chat about them, I'll have a couple of bits of information and we'll see how we get on, okay? Now, in a moment, when I walk in here, this door is going to creak behind me, so don't worry too much about that. Ooh, so just in the door, and look what you're greeted with. This is a Riley Special 9. Now, this particular car, very interesting history on this particular car. So, in 1929, Riley exported 3 engines, chassis, gearboxes, running train to Australia. And in Australia, when it got there, they fabricated bodies on them. And what they did then was, they raced them back to Britain, okay? This isn't one of those 3 cars, but what it is 1930 replica of those cars. So it was built in 1930, and again, this was raced. Very cool car. Again, currently there's an issue with the magneto, so it's not starting or running, excuse me, but it is on the road generally speaking. Now, looking at that image, you can see something, you can see a contrast here. So it's this lovely green color, and then this, leather. So the bodywork on this particular car is leather. Isn't that incredible, folks? So it's a Riley Brooklands 9, I should have said, actually. See the incredible interior, all the switches. You got your magneto. You've all your dial speedos, rev counter, petrol, so on and so forth, map reading light, manual gearbox, of course, lovely leather seats. And one of the nice things I like about this particular car, apart from the cool Riley badge in the back, is that it's a boat tail design. I think that's what they call those, boat tails. So again, just up here on the wall as well, worth noting, the museum has a huge amount of original workshop tools, and I'll explain the reason for that in a little while. One of the other things which the owner was keen to point out to me is one of the first things that greets you when you walk in. There's all of these posters celebrating original electric cars because they kind of find it incredible that we've gone full circle. And these particular ones are Columbia electric runabouts. And the Columbia Mark 68, they were keen to stress that it was very easy. Even a woman could charge one of these cars as opposed to filling up with petrol and all that nasty stuff and having to use the crank handle and stuff to start the car. Here's another nice little piece of auto memorabilia. This here is a petrol pump from 1922. Just interesting to see that. And here you have a couple of different, I think these are mile markers from the railway line that used to run between Thurles and Clonmel. That's going back a long, long time ago. Now, you'll see coming into view, a 1955 Ford Pop, or Popular. Very common car back in the day, very nice car, very good car, I should say, very solid. This particular car, I don't know whether this is original paint or not, but it's certainly got a lot of patina to it. It looks brilliant. Look at that, lovely condition. Again, working museum, these cars are all taxed, insured, out and about. And you can see them driving around the countryside. Again, lovely wood finish here around the window. Nice little grab handle there, chrome window winder, and leather panels. And of course, big chrome door handle as well to open and close the door. Twin spoke steering wheel. Again, Nice and plain, but nice and functional. Big gear knob and everything there. Sorry if the sound is getting a little bit rustled, folks. Nice red leather interior as well. Again, very common back in the day. Look at that. How cool is that? And right beside it then, we have a two-tone Morris Oxford. This is a Farina body Oxford. Again, two-tone, gorgeous, gorgeous car. The Morris Oxford badge right there in the boot. It's great to see that. Very good car back in the day. Wasn't, you're kind of step above the common man driving one of these. Very well built. And a bit of an American look to them as well with the styling at the time. This push handle chrome door. Now, a couple of cool things here. You will notice that's got a bench seat. The first thing that springs to mind then is, if that's the bench seat, where's the handbrake? That's down here by the driver's side. Okay. Again, lovely condition. Lovely dashboard. Nice American feel to it. Lovely waft of leather in this car. A nice center armrest. See the way that pops up? Lovely mechanism on that. Fold it back up. And a 4-speed manual fitted to this particular car. Of course, seats 6 people. So, it's your original family car back in the day. Let's have a little look at the front of it. Of course, Morris at the time, good solid car, good dependable car. Amazing to think that they're still selling, or they were still selling the Morris Minor when this was on the market. Now, you're in for a cool treat here, folks. Check this out. Ford Escort Mark I commercial. How goddamn cool is that? 8 cubic weight. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, it has been restored. It's worth pointing out, it has been restored. It's not original. But look at that mean grille. God, they had a lovely style back in the 70s, didn't they? Nice and sharp. Beautiful condition. Now, I'm going to show you the driver's interior, but that isn't the real pièce de résistance here, folks. You know, it looks sporty without even trying. Those lovely circular dial, 3-spoke steering wheel, vinyl seats, burn the backside off yourself on a hot day. But anyway, they were very functional, hard wearing. Now, before I go to show you the back of this, which I think is incredible, can anyone tell me, was that a company? Was that a business in Kilkenny? Fit remolds. Of course, remolds were great back in the day. You just take your tyre along to someone. Once it's worn out, they'll cut new grooves in it. Stick it back in the car, get another 30,000 miles out of it. Safety first, folks. Safety first. Now, what I like, Statums of Kilkenny, or Statum of Kilkenny for value and telephone number and everything. What I like is the door. You open up this, and this reveals a pristine load bay. Amazingly, there are no dents or scratches on the floor. So for a commercial vehicle, that's absolutely incredible. Owner tells me this drives and runs incredibly well. And again, like everything here, it gets out and about. Also like the way they've done the ZV plate with the raised numbers. Very original feel to that. So, before I have a look at these cars, let's have a quick look at what's on the shelf here behind me. They're reproduction posters from workshop manuals that the owner's father was a mechanic here in Thurles. And you can see there you've got a tuning guide for Solex carburetors, Holly carburetors, Zenith, an illustration of how a Chrysler gas turbine engine works, mechanical brake layouts, hydro brake servers, and an air brake layout, along with a huge range of other memorabilia, which is great to see. Okay, and there's one other thing I want to show you. This particular toolkit now, I'm one-handed here, so I'm not going to be able to lift that down for you, but that's from a late 50s Skoda, which is pretty cool. This tool here, can I get you to see it? For changing the tyre back in the day. Quite heavy, so again, I can't lift it. Now, see this, folks? This is pretty cool. Can you guess what that is? That is from World War II. That's a headlight cover for a car. It's one, you should have two. And here's another type. You fit them on, so the Luftwaffe couldn't tell where a populated area was and drop their bombs, which is pretty cool. Those blue lights are off of an Order of Malta ambulance from Thurles as well. They're functional, but unfortunately the van they were attached to originally no longer exists. So let's take a little walk over here. Again, lots of memorabilia. And again, the owner's delighted to tell you about every single thing here. But he told me about this. This here, I'll give you a second, folks, before I tell you exactly what it is, see if anybody knows. Yeah, I think that guy watching in County Leitrim knows. That is a Ford Cortina Mark I engine. Now, I actually don't know which cc's this engine is, but the gearbox is also attached. Okay, so this was given to the curator here. It was lying in a barn, had been fully reconditioned, ready to go into a car, but for whatever reason never made it into the car, but the owners rebuilt it. And the reason they've rebuilt it and why they want to keep it here is because they reckon very soon, very, very soon, future generations aren't going to know how an internal combustion engine works. And he's going to rig this up so this engine will run here on a stand. You can wheel it outside and start it up. Now, really cool here, folks. This is a Wolseley Hornet Special 6. So 6-cylinder rally car back from the 1930s. Now, I'm trying to remember which year. I think 33. But it's got a great patina. So I can't 100% say if this car has been ever restored, but what I can say is it's been driven, it's been loved, it's got scratches, it's got dents. It's beautiful. So I believe this was used for auto trials and still is. So very cool car. Apparently, I'm told if you start it up, it sounds, I'm going to use the term badass. It sounds really good. A right roar to this one. And again, very light, very compact, and with a 6-cylinder engine underneath, very fast. So that's a Special 6 engine stamped on it. Now, you might be wondering what this big saloon is. I hear one or two of you saying it. It's a Daimler Conquest. This is the saloon version, 4 doors. Would have originally competed with Jaguar back in the day, but unfortunately, Jaguar were just that bit ahead, being a sporting luxury saloon. Again, it's nice features. Nice ventilation system, lots of dials, lovely solid wood dash, automatic gearbox. You can see there, park, neutral, drive, low and reverse, and so on and so forth. Beautiful leather. Actually, folks, this smells gorgeous. It smells leather. It's a lovely smell to that. Okay. Unfortunately for Daimler, they lost out to Jag and were subsumed into the company. Excuse me, folks. A little bit of hay fever still affecting me. That's our gorgeous Ford Escort van again. There's the front of the Daimler Conquest. Just didn't cut it in the market at the time. Now, right next door to that, we have, if my camera would work, a Series 2 Land Rover. So these weren't called Defender back in the day. These were just a Land Rover. Because, of course, Land Rover only made 2 cars. You get a Land Rover or you get a Range Rover. And that was it. They didn't have to worry about trying to highlight to you the difference between them, because that was pretty obvious. Now, again, very fully restored, this particular one. It's also got a rag top on it. Open up the door, beautiful condition inside. Now, I believe this originally would have been blue. It was an agricultural spec, not the army green, which it is right now, but that is a common occurrence when these are resprayed. They would be resprayed green. You can see a nice flatbed in it. Good condition. Again, taxed, insured, used, taken out, and enjoyed the way it should be. One other thing just before I move on, I forgot to point out. 2-stroke airplanes. How cool are they? They actually fly, all of them. They're flying condition and they're used again, which is great. Now, just up here on the wall, some of you of a certain vintage might recognize these from your youth. You would have found these outside petrol stations here in Ireland. These are original Irish ones. This particular one here, you get a free dipstick wiper. Now, in case anybody is wondering what a dipstick wiper is, it's about 1 inch long. You fitted it inside the wing of your car, and inside it was a little bit of sponge, and you pulled out your dipstick, rubbed it through this, and then you could dip your oil and see exactly what the level was. It's a huge amount of memorabilia. I can't go through everything here, folks, and give it justice. To be honest, it's just too much. Now, here behind me, really, really interesting vehicle. You can see this particular one has not been restored, but The owner is in two minds. Do I restore it? Do I just leave it as it is? So you guys can bang a comment in there and tell me, what do you think they should do? However, you can see, nice original old Irish plate, ZF9091. This is a Smith electric delivery truck. Would have been built in England originally, then it was sent to Cork where it was first sold and used, and then it was sold to a bakery here in Thurles, and that's Sweeney's Bakery. And it was used, I think, in Thurles from about 1955 to 1972, if I remember correctly. It is in very original condition. This is where the lead acid batteries would have set. Looking in there, you can also see the drivetrain. You can see the electric motor in the front. That's over there. And you can see this prop shaft, which goes all the way back to the rear axle. Now, sorry about the light, folks, but you got to get an idea how it drives. Now, I'll just open this up slightly. Actually, do you know what? We'll just peer in where there's a non-existent window. There is a gear selector, and that's pretty much it, and a handbrake. That's it. You got a seat for the driver then, and a steering wheel. In case you're wondering how it operated, for any of you guys interested in electrics, this is it. It would move between each of these different transformers to increase and decrease the speed. I'll just stand back so you can get an appreciation of what this thing looks like. Now, it's not as bad as it looks. It looks desperate, but that's just the paint chipping off. Now, beside that, there's a Ford Model A. This was an original Irish car, again, doctor's car. Owner of the museum tells me every single thing is available new to rebuild one of these. And the other way you can tell this is a doctor's car is by taking a look inside. The first thing you're going to notice is those seats, they're velour, they're not leather. That's right, folks. You go back in the day, if you wanted a nice example of a car, you got velour seats. And the reason you got velour seats was because leather on a cold day would freeze your backside. And on a hot day would burn your backside. And on every day, you sweated. But velour, you didn't do that with velour. Now, beside the Ford Model A, that's a 1930 Ford Model A, by the way, just to say to you. And beside that, remember a second ago I said we had a Daimler Conquest 4-door? Well, this is a Daimler Conquest, a convertible. So convertible of the same model. Again, beautiful paint finish. This was designed again to take on the Jaguars of the time, Alvis maybe as well. And you can see lovely interior. The rear bench is flipped up currently. Sorry if that's making noise there, folks. You can see again, lovely, lovely dashboard in beautiful condition. Very elegant looking design to this car. Let's have a little look at it from the front. You have a little pop-up aerial for the radio. Now, of course, that's manual pop-up, not electric. And again, you can appreciate that a little bit more there from the front. Look at that. And again, as I say, folks, if anybody wants to arrange a trip out for their local car club, that can be arranged. Okay, check out my email address below this video in the description and send me an email. And you can come then and have a look at this 1962 Ford 2000 tractor. Again, original Irish, restored by the original owner's family, and then sold in to be part of the collection here. And again, this is used. So this isn't just parked up, this is used. And again, 2 stationary pumps. This particularly fetching Lister one was originally used in the north of Ireland, and it was used to drive an electric generator. Now, let's take a little walk over here past this Ford 2000 to this Morris commercial. Now, folks, I'm going to stand here for a second, and you're going to be saying to yourself, I've seen that truck before. That's a very, very familiar looking truck. Now, of course, Morris Commercials at the time were a Nuffield company, and this particular one is fitted with a 2.2 litre 4-cylinder, I think it's a petrol engine, I could be wrong. But where have you seen this before? Heartbeat. That's it, you've seen it in Heartbeat. This was Claude Greengrass's actual truck. In the series, there was approximately 4 trucks, if I remember correctly, used. This was one of them, okay? So great little treat here. Now you will notice the big, huge wing mirrors. These aren't original. The owner has the original ones. And the reason those big ones are fitted is because they could see absolutely nothing out of it when they had a load on the back. And of course, they like to carry around the barrels. Now, I do have a personal connection to one of these. My granddad had one. And my granddad was out driving up near the V in South Tip with my mother and her 2 sisters in this front bench. See that door handle over there? Yep, that particular one that's placed exactly where a child would lean and open it and fall out. as they're going around the bend. So that's exactly what happened. Now, behind us here, Thurles residents maybe had an accident or a fall or needed a trip to hospital might recognise this. This is the Order of Malta van from Thurles. It's the original Order of Malta. It's been fully restored. Huge amount of work gone into this. Just show you that original Irish reg. Now, although it says 88 on the plate, this was actually an 87 model, was bought and then sent off for conversion to make it into an ambulance. This works, and folks, the siren on this is incredibly loud when it's turned on. So I'm just coming around here. We can have a look at the interior of this. Fully restored, fully reconditioned. Not fully restored, I should say. Beautiful seats. These have all been redone. What isn't finalised in this is the rear, but the curator here tells me they have everything to go into it. They're just currently in the process of doing that. Currently just reassembling it. Now, there is one other thing I'd like to point out over here. Now, the owner was telling me, a local gentleman has started remaking these trade plates, old style trade plates. Now, he hasn't told me if he's doing this for a business, he's just doing it as a hobby at the minute, but I'm pretty sure if you came down and asked nicely, you might be able to get a reproduction one made if that's your thing, if it suited your collection. You might be able to put you in touch with the gentleman who makes them. Should make a lovely touch for anyone's museum. Lovely barrels there. I wonder, do they contain a little bit of whiskey? Who knows? Again, more tools from the owner's father's workshop here that used to be in Thurles. Again, handy to have around when you have all these old vehicles. Now, speaking of that workshop, and speaking of the curator's father, you can see here these service books. Now, essentially, the owner's father used to keep detailed records of all the servicing done to all the cars. And he tells me as you flick through them, you start to see the same names and same cars coming up approximately every 3,000 miles. So the mileage and everything is written in here as well in some of them. Okay, exactly what was done, the prices involved. So this particular one here, I'm just picking out the first one, was a Mr. Danny Maher, or Mar, depending on where you're from. Okay. And he got his car serviced for 48,550 miles. This is all the stuff he'd done and all the different prices involved. So he got an air filter, set of plugs, full service. Through a lot of different stuff he had, full service and price, and so on and so forth. But let's come up here. There's a couple of things I wanted to show you. So first of all, original Irish motoring memorabilia. We have a tourist ad here. See Ireland by CIE. Lovely. You still get to go into every small boreen in the country if you travel CIE. Again, another one here, see Ireland, see Dublin by CIE, lovely. But this particular one up here caught my attention. Hey, daddy long legs. This is an original ad for an Austin Morris 1100 in Ireland, okay? And I just thought, I'll go back up to it again. I just thought that looked beautiful for some reason. Again, Dublin Reg, Austin Morris, great to see that. Okay, and again, this is just a sample of what's here. I'm not going through absolutely everything. So I'm going to take a little trip out. Now, I hope I have enough light left. Out here, let's say this is a working museum. You can see one of the current projects that's ongoing. See if any of you folks can figure out what it is that we're looking at here. This is the tree ladders off an original fire engine. Now, these are made of oak. They're currently being restored. And you might say, well, where's the fire engine? Let's have a little look up here. There's a little bit of extra agricultural equipment here if anybody's interested. Iron horse. This particular one's called an iron horse. Again, 2 potato pickers and 2 finger bar mowers. If you come over here, you'll see again more Irish heritage, agricultural heritage, an original Pierce horse-drawn crop sprayer. Now, for anyone who remembers the Pierce factory in Wexford, that's where this would have been made and assembled and forged. And it was a complete sin. I'm going to say it was a complete sin that that factory got knocked there about 10, 15 years ago in order to build a Tesco. So it's a beautiful old building and they knocked it. But anyway, fire engine time. Here it is. Now, as I said, this is a working museum. This is currently under restoration, the fire engine, and this is a Comer fire engine. Now, it looks pretty bad. Apologies about the lights, folks, just if the light isn't great. It looks pretty bad, but the reason it's all stripped is because of this. That is not rust, folks. That's actually mahogany. And unfortunately, it's deteriorated. So they've had to strip away all the bodywork in order to start a rebuild. See where the ladders would have shut in or would have fitted in there. So huge restoration. So this, folks, is one of the reasons why a museum like this needs your support. These things don't come cheap. These things require a huge amount of time and effort and specialist knowledge and specialist skills. So if you could come and support this museum, I'd really, really recommend it. As I say, it's not open to the public, but you can come by invitation. So if you contact the owner, if you send me an email address, I'll send the owner's contact details to you, and you can arrange maybe a visit for your local car club. And I know they'd be absolutely delighted to have any support here that they could have. There's Sweeney's Bakery. Look at that. Original signs. You don't get this stuff anymore. It's all kind of, unfortunately, this stuff comes from a time in Ireland when it wasn't appreciated for what it is now. And it was binned. And of course, that electric truck I'm walking past there right now is Sweeney's Bakery as well. So the sign and the truck go together. Now let's take a quick little look out here. Let's see what else we can see. I know the light is fading, but I hope we can get this one last vehicle in. You're all dying to see what that is. That's a Mondeo hearse. But this particular one is a Leyland delivery truck, BMC diesel engine. Nice bit of patina to this one. This has not been restored yet. It may be restored. I don't actually know if the owner is going to restore this one, but it is certainly lined up. And again, nice, interesting one. I believe this originally came from Scotland. Coatbridge. Is Coatbridge in Scotland? Is that England? Interesting way the door opens. So it opens back, so the driver can step in and out and try out your milk pretty quickly. The milk truck. And that's the inside of it, of course. Engine there to keep your feet warm and your lungs full of nitrogen dioxide. Keep you gassed. And that's it. How cool is that, folks? As I say, a bit of patina to it. Not perfect, but not everything has to be perfect. Now, folks, I know this has been a really long episode of John's Garage, but I really appreciate you taking the time to come on this journey with us, okay? And listen, just to sum up, I don't want to give away the location of here, but if anybody wants to come and visit it, send me an email at the email address in the description of this video. I'll pass on the owner's details, and you can come, maybe arrange a nice car trip here with your car club, arrange a little something with the owner, and I'm pretty sure you could have a great time here and you could really enjoy your time. I'm going to take one last walk inside, and you're welcome to come with me. And the reason I want to go for one last walk inside is I just want to show that escort van again. That damn thing is cool. But I want you to tell me, that sign, Fit Remolds from Kilkenny, is that a thing? Is that a business? Do any of you know? Can any of you recall? Am I just daydreaming thinking that was a thing? I know remolds were a thing. But what about that place in Kilkenny? And the other thing is, I just think this escort van is brilliant. Hence why I want to show it to you. Let's have a little look at it. Look, how cool is that? Okay, cool escort, cool Farina, or Oxford. Beautiful Popular. And look at that Riley. Oh my God. I think the Riley is the owner's car of the museum. That's the one they like. I'm definitely in the Ford category here though, folks. It is gorgeous. They're all gorgeous, let's be honest about it. But absolutely brilliant. Folks, I'm really happy you got to come on this trip. Now, one last thing before I sign off. What I would say to you is, if anybody has a collection, it could be as nice as this, it could be nicer. Maybe it's all battered and covered in dust. But if you'd like to open it up and let the public see it via this channel, I'd be only too delighted to give you a little platform to do that. And I'd love to come and visit you anywhere in the country, okay? So give me an email if you'd like to show your collection as well in a similar fashion. I'm delighted the owner brought me in here today, and I hope you found this a respectful and interesting tour of their museum. And please, folks, send me an email. I'll pass on the owner's details. Get your car club down here and see what you can see, okay? Thank you very much, folks. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the video. Talk to you again. Bye-bye.